Hi, good afternoon. So what does everyone that's been watching the Casey Anthony trial, what do you think about what took place this morning? What are your opinions and views on all of that? I have a few that, of course, are speculations at this point, but I have a few things that I think can be going on here. Okay, number one, it was clear that Casey appeared upset. Normally when she comes in every morning into court before the jurors walk in, she's always laughing. She's cutting up with her attorneys, doing things of that nature. Whereas it was very clear from the moment she came in this morning that something just wasn't right with her demeanor. And then, of course, everything that happened with her going back into chambers with her attorneys and the court reporter and the judge. Excuse me. A few things here. I think something's either happened with her mother and brother's testimony or even both. Remember when her mother was on the witness stand saying that she was not working that afternoon and she was the one looking up the chloroform and all. Well, there's timesheets that are on the internet that anybody can look up that clearly state that she was at work on March the 17th of 2008 from 8 in the morning until 6 in the evening, and it showed her as working 10 hours that day. And these chloroform searches and stuff of that nature, I believe, were to have taken place somewhere like around, 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And plus, she didn't work so close to her house that, let's say, she would come home for a lunch break either. So that you pretty much throw that theory out. So I'm wondering if that has something to do with it. Or is there displeasure with an attorney, and there's an attorney that's going to be leaving? Is there going to be a change in the lead counsel from Baez over to Mason? As I said, whatever it is, it's personal. It's not, people are saying, well, maybe it's a mistrial, or maybe it's a juror. No, if it was one of those two things, her demeanor would not have been that way. Especially with a mistrial. If she knew they were about to have a mistrial, she'd be in there all laughing and cutting up, beside herself with excitement. So that's why I said it is something that is personal, because she honestly looked distraught this morning, and puzzled and upset. So we'll see Monday, what the case was and what's going on. And then I also have heard it could be that picture that I talked about in my last video about the case. It's abundantly clear to anyone that has even 5 brain cells that the picture of Kaylee trying to open the sliding glass door that the defense presented into evidence is clearly been photoshopped. It's been manipulated. I've seen comparisons between that one and the original, and the one they presented into evidence. She's about a foot taller. Her legs are a lot taller and skinnier. Same with her arms. They've got it to where it more appears to be like a 5 or 6-year-old child than it does a 2-year-old. So that's where it stands right now. I'm very curious to see what's going on. If they get Cindy with perjury and impeach her, she did it to her own damn self. I used to feel really bad for her mother, and part of me still does. I know she loves her granddaughter, but it's clear that she has lied. She changes her stories all the time and tries to blame it on medication. Let me tell you, I have issues which cause brain fog. Literally cause brain fog, to where I've been sitting here at times and could not even remember my own address. But it's a temporary thing, and I've been on whole different kind of medications. I've never been on a damn medication that would give me selective memory, where when the defense is questioning me, I just remember every little single detail about specific dates. But as soon as the prosecution starts to question me, oh, I can't remember. Oh, I might have said that. Oh, I don't know. I was on medication. Blah, 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 blah. Lies, lies, lies. That's what's wrong with Casey. You people have coddled her and babied her all of her life. You've let her walk all over you and get away with all her lies, stealing from you, stealing from your parents, stealing from her friends. you know, there has to be this thing called tough love that has to come into place here. And you know, and another thing, I don't care how damn screwed up their family is, because there's a lot of screwed up families out there. There's still no excuse for what she did to little Kaylee. And I'm going to tell you right now, from all the evidence I've seen, I've been watching the trial since day one, I would side 100% with the prosecution on this case. There's just, and it's not just the evidence, the scientific evidence they've presented, but then also Dr. G's testimony and the obvious facts that she never reported her child missing. She never would have reported her child missing. Her mother overheard her telling Lee about Kaylee being gone for 31 days. If it, you know, if it would not have been for Cindy overhearing that, something tells me that Lee would have carried that damn secret to his grave, and they would still be thinking some nanny out there had kidnapped her. So, I think, you know, when Casey, what she did, you know, she did a good job of trying to cover her tracks and trying to hide evidence and whatnot. But nobody's perfect. You know, that one lone hair that was in the trunk of her car that showed death banding, that alone could be the kicker right there to getting that guilty charge. You know, the jury coming back saying guilty. I still don't know if it was premeditated or if it was accidental. Part of me says that it was an accidental death, that she just gave her too much chloroform. And but then again, with the duct tape and everything else, and the big fight that her and her mother had the night before in regards to Casey stealing money from her own grandparents, and then reading Cindy Anthony's MySpace blog posting from July the 3rd, if you start adding all those things together, then premeditation seems like it could be a very likely thing too. So, but I'm still, like I said, toss up. But even if Kaylee died as a result of child neglect or abuse, which, you know, given her chloroform or something like that, she died from OD, that would fall under that. From what I'm reading under Florida law, that is still something they can get her. That's still a death penalty charge right there. So, well, I'm going to go. Just going to sit here and watch some more HLN, see what they're talking about. They've had so many speculations today. Excuse me. That it's just ridiculous, all the speculations. But I'm going to stick to mine and say that it's something personal due to her demeanor, because I've been watching the trial every day, and she's never come into court looking distraught and upset. She's always smiling and happy and talking to her lawyers and all that. And that did not take place this morning. So she knew it was coming down the pipe before it even happened. That's how I look at it. So, which is why that part right there is what makes me think it has something to do with her mother and her brother, or one of the others' testimony. And maybe that's going to be the big bombshell of this, you know, when the prosecution comes out with all the evidence. I cannot wait for rebuttals. I cannot wait. All right, well, everyone, have a good weekend. I am out of here, and my husband's on his way home with some dinner, and I can't wait because I'm starving. Talk to you later. Bye.